everybody, this is Brian. Welcome to Chiller Night Live. We're from 8 p.m. Eastern Time until 9 o'clock. We'll talk about all things horror, science fiction, paranormal. You pick the topic and we will make a show out of it. That's what we do. That's why we're here. All right, hope everybody had a good week. And let's see, wow, we got Bonehead right away. Hello. Hey, Bonehead. Thanks for joining us. There's my baby Ava giving some hearts. Right back at you. Stephanie says, hey, y'all. Hey there, Stephanie. Raymond says, Brian. Raymond's here early. Thanks for joining us, Raymond. Bonehead says, hey, hello to Brian and the Chiller Night crew. Well, I'm glad everybody could make it. Let's see here. What is going on here? All right. Brian says, hello, everyone. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us. All right, so tonight we have a topic kind of near and dear to me, but this was from Ravencroft, so we'll hopefully Ravencroft will join us tonight. If not, we'll talk behind his back. We'll proceed with this topic. Horror hosts. The topic for tonight is horror hosts. We'll talk about all things horror host and who was you can tell me about your favorite horror host growing up, or who was your area's horror host. Y'all know mine. Mine was Bill Chilly Billy Cardill. So Dee says, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Dee, thanks for joining us. Stephanie says, hi, Bones. Hi, Ava. Ava says, hi, everyone. Some of you are on YouTube. Some are on Facebook. So, for some reason, you can't see each other's, but I can see all. So, you have to trust me. That I'm conveying the chats. Bonin says, I nominate Jack Shadow in the legendary Chilly Billy. Haha. Wow. That's quite a compliment to have Jack there with Chilly. Dee says Jack Shadow and Elvira. Same thing. Yes, absolutely. I did a thumbnail for tonight's horror hosts. And I didn't even ask for Elvira to be on there because I wasn't, sure about that, using an actual horror host image, but that came up. I thought it looked pretty cool, so I'm using it for tonight. Yeah, this one here, this is just kind of a generic, ensemble there of horror hosts, but I think we can all recognize Jack Shadow at least. Dee says, I was able to do a meet and greet with Cassandra. Elvira got pics. It was a lifetime memory. Oh, that's cool. When was that? Recent? Brian says, in New York, it was the Cool Ghoul Zachary. Oh, okay. There you go. An oldie but a goodie. John says, and it's time again. Forget about the day's problems and enjoy the best hour that you can have. It's Tuesday night. And time again for Chiller Night Live. This is your introduction announcer, Crozak the Grand. And here's the reason why you show up. Here's our host, Bryan Hogue. Well, thank you, John. Thank you very much, Crozak the Grand. Bonin says, I also like Ned the Dead and Doc Moreau. I've got a list of horror hosts as well. Let's see. Jason says, good evening, my fellow ghouls, and to our esteemed and fearless master of the macabre, Brian. Thank you again for our Tuesday escape. You are very welcome, and thank you for joining us. Stephanie says, my mom had the cool ghoul. The host who portrayed him was born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. I found his grave during a daytime tour. Is that right? Oh, okay. Bonin says, I like watching Newcastle After Dark with the management. They're also from Pennsylvania. Oh, that's neat. That is cool. Let's see here. Horror hosts. All right. Now, if you are new on here, if you're a new viewer, and I'll get to this in just a moment. A big box just popped up on my screen right in front of everything I'm trying to look at. All right, let's see if I can. Aha! All right, problem solved. All right, so a horror host is a host or presenter of a program where horror films and low-budget B-movies are shown on television or the internet. Usually the host assumes a horror-themed persona, often a campy or humorous one. Generally, there are breaks in the film where the host comments on various aspects of the movie. Many horror host shows also include skits involving the hosts themselves, sometimes with a sidekick or other supporting characters. You have seen, at least on mine, Sleepy Hollow Theater, and then the current ChillerNight Theater of kind of a little cast of characters over the years. This year I haven't had any extra characters as I've been rushing, trying to keep up with the new episodes of ChillerNight Theater, which I will give you the schedule here in just but a mere moment, because it's kind of a weird thing. It's my schedule has been so busy. I have a couple out of the 20 episodes, 20 episodes that I have, anticipated for this 20 weeks for the 20-year run. I have a couple with Aura the Witch. That's a given. Ava is going to join me. And also, there's at least one other character, if not a couple. So, Ravencroft says, thanks for joining my suggestion, Brian. There he is. There's Ravencroft. Thanks for joining us. Oh, no! I missed a chat, something about in Boston, mid-70s. And then now it's lost. And I can't scroll up thanks to Restream's new and not improved chat feature. Kevin says, good evening. Hey, good evening. Kevin, thanks for joining us. Let's see. But it says Vampira was a good-looking host in the 60s. I actually believe she was the first to do it. Yes, the Vampira show. Actually, in 1954 to 1955, it lasted just 2 seasons there. But yeah, and then she went on to be in Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that's kind of neat that how she was kind of the first, really the first one that she's given credit as being the first horror host. I have no reason to dispute that, none at all. But it's not just your weekly horror movie. Rod Serling, that's a horror host. The Crypt Keeper, that's a horror host as well. There are other hosts out there who do like an actual feature show that, as long as you're kind of doing an intro and a conclusion, you're a horror host. Let's see. Where am I? Okay, so while we have a little lull in the chat there, let me put up this week's schedule. Tonight, right after this show, Jack Shadow will be featuring Twisted Brain. We played that a few weeks ago on ChillerNight Theater. That will be presented on The Vortex. That's at horrorhost.net. Yep, that's online. The Vortex. 9 o'clock, Jack Shadow will be featuring Twisted Brain, also known as Horror High. You're probably more likely to see it listed under Horror High, but I watched it under Twisted Brain. I remember back in the day. That's at horrorhost.net. Now tomorrow, on the 19th, a new Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tale comes out, and that will be The Skin That Walked Alone. All right, we got a skinwalker story. So, nice and creepy one. That'll be tomorrow. And then, Saturday night, on Stream TV at 9 p.m., the made-for-TV movie in 1979, Vampire. Vampire it is, starring Richard Lynch as the blood-sucking ghoul. So that's coming up this week. There's your schedule. And then at 11:58 on New York 48, WWON TV, the same movie, Vampire. All right, so that's our Saturday night's movies. And there's our channel, Stream TV, our long-running association with Stream TV, streammedia.tv at 9 p.m. and 11:58 p.m. at WON1NewYork.net, wonnewyork.net. And they also have a Roku channel, so go there and clickety-click, you got a Roku channel. So, pretty good deal. All right, so does Ravencroft, does anyone else remember the WGN Creature Features from Chicago? Watched a lot of that growing up. Does anybody remember? I only knew pretty much Chilly Billy. Boris Karloff was a horror host. Classic Guy 66 says, yeah, that's right. That's right. Bonus says, sorry, Brian, I really screwed up with Vampire Show. I forgot it was the 50s. I said 60s. Show you forgetful, empty-headed skull. I live up to my nickname, Bonehead. That's all right. You were just off a decade. That's nothing in TV and TV years. John says there was also a Channel 5 in Boston. There was a 5 all night with George Pennell, who we actually seen him in the shadows, and he was on several nights with each show had a different theme. Like Tuesday nights it was Charlie Chan Theater. Oh, okay, very cool. SBC says Jack Shadow is the best one without boobs, LOL. Thank you, SBC. D says I got to meet Cassandra at the Steel City Con in 2017. Very cool, very cool. But it says Ravencroft. I thought I'd try something different instead of always saying, hey, Yins. I hear Yins a lot because I'm in that neck of the woods of Pennsylvania. But it says Rod Serling was awesome in Twilight Zone and Night Gallery. Yes. Jason says 1979 Cliffhanger Hearses was great at Classic Guy. Cliffhanger Hearses. Not sure I know what that is, Jason. Cliffhanger Hearses. Bonin says Boris Karloff was great in the Thriller series. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, with Classic Guy bringing that up. Yeah, Boris Karloff. You don't think of him as a horror host. I mean, at least initially, you think of him as the legendary horror actor. But yeah, he was a horror host. Raymond says in 1958, DC had a late night show called Shock. No person gave an introduction, only a picture and a corpse covered under a sheet with a lily white arm exposed and illuminated by one candle. Really? Yeah, hey, sure. Well, you know, when Chiller Theater started in Pittsburgh, it was all, at first it was just a voiceover. You know, didn't show Bill Cardell. I don't know that he necessarily even had the name Chilly Billy at first for the first few episodes. I could be wrong on that. Played out on WPXI back then when it first started in 63, I think it was 62 or 63, 63, I think. It was, the channel was WIIC and then later became WPXI, and it ran for 20 years at least, 63 until New Year's Eve of 83 and 84. So that was the last Chiller Theater. Serling also did the horror-based Night Gallery. Yeah, I love that. I love that show. John says when the Ghoul played in Boston in early to mid 70s, he was played by Ron Swede. Ah, cool. Is that where? I mean, some of you were telling me you're horror hosts. Did you guys grow up watching your horror host? I mean, I did. Obviously, that was my inspiration for what I'm doing now. I didn't know a lot of the other, like Zachary and all that. I didn't know that because those were not in my area, and I had no idea. I didn't hear about them till way later, but certainly not as a kid growing up. Ravencroft said the Western was The Secret Empire with sci-fi, and the other was Stop Susan Williams with Susan Anton. Was Stop Susan Williams was Okay, the Western and Stop, I take it. Oh, Jason says cliffhanger series. Sorry, it was in 1979. 3 stories. One about a vampire, another as a Western, and I forget the. Oh, okay. And then Ravencroft answered. I see. Bonnet says, Brian, being here in Texas, I I got to tell him Yins is a Pittsburgh version of y'all. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, very good comparison there. Instant recognition. John says, before Facebook stopped offering fan streaming, I could watch a choice between Sammy Terry, the Mummy, and the Monkey, and a certain dapper-looking guy named Jack Shadow. Stopped offering fan streaming. Was that like in the groups? Like the watch parties? Is that what you mean? D says, did you hear Tom Savini? I did hear about that. Yeah, I read about that yesterday morning. I read about that. That's sad. His the news is, his home, his lifetime home that's been in his family for generations, burned down. And I don't know if it is completely burned down or if any of it can be salvaged, but wow. I can only imagine all the stuff that he had in there over the years, all the stuff that that has been lost. Of course, they were okay, and that's the part that can't be replaced is they themselves. So fortunately, he and the occupants of that house are made it out okay. But yeah, that would be so devastating. Bunhead says, I remember Chiller Mac's drive-in with Wolfman and Boney Bob. Stephanie says, when I was a kid, I watched Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs. Does that count? Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, he's still doing his thing. SBC says, Hildes Wild Horror Show aired in Germany from 1992 till 93. Is that right? Okay, that's cool. We got a Germany one here. Or I don't know if it was an American one just featured in Germany, but D says, did you hear Tom Savini's Pittsburgh residence family home caught fire? The home was saved, but a lot of the horror memorabilia was lost in a fire. Yeah, that's I know. I see at times on Instagram and Facebook, I see a lot of his pictures that are taken in his house and all the stuff that he's had over all those years. Ravencroft says, and of course the Svengoolie show, which has been running since the 70s. Yeah, Svengoolie, then the son of Svengoolie, then that title became Svengoolie. And it was cool because this show here, ChillerNight Theater, ChillerNight Theater, the hosted horror show part, was obviously a homage to Chiller Theater, and I asked Chilly Billy about that before I did this, and he gave me his blessings to use the name, and just as a courtesy, as a professional courtesy, I did check with him first. And he even told me, Brian, you could have even used son of Chiller. That made me think of that when I thought of Svengoolie. But a direct, I don't know what do you call it, like offspring of the parent show, and that was a big compliment. Stephanie says, is Tom and his family okay? Yes, they were able to get out. They're fine from everything that I read. They're fine. And that's obviously the most important thing, but you just wonder about all that stuff he's had, all that stuff that's got to just tear you up. Classic Guy 66 says the Cliffhanger series was a homage to old classic serial movies of the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Oh, that's cool. Raymond says DNC Thriller was the best TV show. I still watch him and remember how I reacted to each show I remembered. Nice. SBC says Manos would have made a great horror host. Manos, in the hands of fate. Brad says they're all very awesome hosts, but not as awesome as Jack Shadow and definitely not as awesome as when the 1931 horror films Dracula and Frankenstein coming to the public domain this January. Absolutely. Thank you, Brad, for joining us and for the awesome compliment for Jack Shadow. I'll make sure he hears that. Yes, that's right. Yeah, those other shows are coming up. Now that reminds me. Oh, Jason says Commander USA was great. Yeah, I liked him. I did like him. Um, I guess I'm thinking of the Saturday night horror host type of commander, but Commander USA was very good. Bunhead says I forgot about Svengoolie and Joe Bob Briggs. I watched a lot of Svengoolie. Raven says, yeah, I loved him. Chiller Night Theater. The last night for Chiller Night Theater for this run of programming will be Halloween night. You know, will that be the absolute last Chiller Night Theater? Probably not, because as Brad, points out, Dracula and Frankenstein are coming to the public domain in January. So I'm sure there will be specials, special events where Jack will be back. But this run of 20 weeks to commemorate the 20 years of Jack Shadow and my 20-year anniversary for haunted houses coming up. Let's see. Yeah, Jack Shadow's House of Terror, 20-year anniversary from 2006 to 2026. That's coming up, and it'll be my last haunted house. So I'd like to just, tie it up with 20 years. A 20-year anniversary. That's a long time. I've done a lot of haunted houses, and for a lot of people who want to do haunted houses, a lot of people, talk about doing haunted houses or try to do a haunted house. They might get one running for 1 or 2 years and discover even a small haunt, even a smaller haunt, how hard and difficult it is to get these up and running. It's not as simple as people would think. But 20 years. It's my 20-year anniversary, so I'd like to wrap it up at 20. It's been fun. It's been a good time, but I'd like to move on. But Jack Shadow will still be, even if he's not Chiller Night Theater or the haunted houses. You can catch Jack Shadow on Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales, and that show is just starting out. You're seeing some short stories right now, but that show is my intent when I can just focus on that. Will be to the show will be evolving into something better. I mean, I'm happy with it right now. I'm pleased with how it's going, but I would like it to. But my vision is to have this evolve into something. It'd be awesome if I could get up to like 20-minute episodes and fully animated. I think that the stories, if I can get the stories fully animated, I think that'd be awesome. That's my goal. We will see. What's on this Saturday, Brian? Brad says. This Saturday is on Stream TV at 9 o'clock. The movie Vampire, the made-for-TV movie Vampire. And Jack will explain all that. The movie was actually started out, the idea was this movie was basically a pilot to get a series started. It didn't really take off, but later in life, it did pick up a kind of a cult following. So that'll be the movie for Saturday night, Stream TV at 9 o'clock, and then at 11:58 on New York 48 WWON. So those are the movies. And tomorrow, don't forget, if you're not signed up, if you're not subscribed to Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales YouTube channel, you don't even have to go look for it. It's in the description. Folks, how easy is that? I have the link in the description for this show right here that you're watching. So go click on that, subscribe, and check out Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales. So please and thank you, and hit that notification, and that'll be Jack's new that'll be your way of continuing watching Jack Shadow. Um, Briggs would say anybody can die at any time. Anybody can die at any time. Yeah, that's true. Say it ain't so, Jack, Jason says. It is. Yeah. I've done my run, and it's been a good run. Raven says, why aren't Dracula and Frankenstein already in public domain? I thought the time was 90 years, and they've been out 95 years. Is that right? I don't know. I just know this January. I know that because of our weekly reminder. Brad, I appreciate that. D says, is that image a mini flyer you have available? I am making a Jack Shadow box to place in our movie room. Is that image this one here? Is that what you're talking about? I can send that to you if that's the one you're talking about. If it's another one, let me know. I'll send it to you. I can email it to you. I have the ones from 20. Oh, okay. And my ticket stubs. Just wanted my display to have anything from the last haunt, popcorn, yellow stripes. I don't know why I write it out. Raymond says, Brian are going traveling, fishing. I am, no, I'd just like to focus on one project right now. I'll be, I'd like to close up the ChillerNight store, the escape rooms, the haunted house, and ChillerNight theater, and just focus on one thing, because it's getting overwhelming. I'm getting really, I can have fun doing this stuff, but I really would like to focus on one thing. And if it's going to be one thing to focus on, I'd like it to be something that, the Cranberry Mall. I love the Cranberry Mall. I've loved it, since 1981, since it's open, but, it's no secret. Go check it out. I'd like to just wrap it up with this last year for for Jack Shadow's House of Terror, and I don't see being in there longer than that. Vampire was a good film. I wish it had become a series. Oh, Vampire was good. Ravencroft says. SBC says I still have one a month episode of ChillerNight Theater with Jack Shadow. I still have a one a month episode. I'm not sure what I'm reading there, SBC. I'm sorry. Bonus says, hello and welcome to the ChillerNight crew. Oh, for Classic Guy. Glad to have you in the Chiller family. Yes, absolutely. Ravencroft says, some of the Chiller Theater videos I have, my recommendations are very short. Are these just previews of the longer ones? Some of them are just like the skits, if that's what you're referring to. Or are you talking about the shorts, the little reels? I've been posting some of those as well. I think it's 100 years, then they can be public domain, I think Bonehead says, for Ramcroft. Fuzzy says, bad link. Oh, are you kidding me? It worked when I tried it, but oh no. All right. Look, I go to Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales. Is right down here in the corner. YouTube, Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales. Thanks for letting me know that. I will check that out after the show and change that if I need to. I think we've tried that before. I know I tried it when I originally did the link, but I will check it out. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Jason says, I'm going to try to get up there and go through your haunted house this year. All right, cool, very cool. I'd love to see you again. Ravencroft says, Bonehead, okay, maybe it was changed. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can ask Brad Beckwith. He might know. Brad Beckwith, do you know? Oh, about the public domain thing. SBC, I think it has to do with the death date of the copyright holder. don't know about that. Let's see. Bunny says, sorry, glad to have you in the family. Classic guy. Sorry, I can't type or spell too, apparently. LOL. SBC says, I still hope for one a month episode of ChillerNight Theater with Jack Shadow. Oh, the one a month episode of ChillerNight Theater. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll have to see what kind of time, if any, that I can put into that. Bunny says, I always thought Universal held the copyrights to Drac and Frankie. They do. They do up until you can only hold them for a certain amount of time, and then they go into the public domain. You can renew the copyright, but after a certain amount of time, then it's going into the public domain, evidently. And I'm certainly no expert on that subject, but that's how I understand it. Ravencroft says, is it okay to mention other YouTube horror hosts, Brian? Yeah, the theme tonight, I appreciate the courtesy of asking, but yeah, we've been doing that. I don't have a problem with that. Thank you though. But yeah, the topic for tonight is horror hosts. So yeah, if you got some that you're wanting to mention, please do. Feel free to do that. Classic Guy 66. Steven Spielberg directed an episode of Night Gallery starring Joan Crawford and Tom Bosley, future Happy Days dad. Is that right? I did not know that. That's pretty cool. I was not aware of that. And I used to watch, well, I mean, I don't remember a lot about the Night Gallery other than I used to love watching it when I was a kid. Me and my dad would watch that, and that opening, there was just something so creepy as a kid watching that. That was scary to, the Twilight Zone, not so much. I enjoyed the Twilight Zone, but it wasn't scary to me like the Night Gallery. And that opening just set the mood for the entire show. I couldn't even tell you what the shows were, but I remember the opening pretty well. Let's see. Oh, Brad says, because Bonehead's asking again, Brad says, after 95 years, almost everything in the United States becomes public domain. Full public domain. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know how that works, so very interesting. Well, then the mummy ought to be right there coming up behind it then. Jason says, the Crypt Keeper, Alfred Hitchcock. There you go. Boris Karloff hosted a short-lived series. Boris has been mentioned. The Crypt Keeper, I think I mentioned him, but then Alfred Hitchcock, that's one I haven't seen mentioned yet, but yeah, very true. But it says, yeah, classic guy. Spielberg directed a couple Night Galleries episodes. That's neat. I did not know that. I wasn't aware of that. That's really cool. Ravencroft says the the YouTube one I was thinking was Newcastle After Dark. Has anyone seen that? Of course, nobody could hold a candle to the Great Jack Shadow. Oh! Thank you. The Newcastle After Dark. Interesting. Thanks, Brad. We were wondering. I figured you'd know. Thanks again, Bonehead says. Raymond says, classic guy. I remember that one. Bosley donated his eyes to Crawford for money. Oh, okay. The copyright expires, not the trademark, Brad says. Ah, that's interesting. Interesting to know. The copyright expires, not the trademark. Okay. Well, Ravencroft says The Mummy, 1932, The Old Dark House, 1932, Invisible Man, 1933, King Kong should all be coming. Yeah. That's kind of cool. I mean, maybe we'll see Jack back, to host some of these ones coming out. That'd be really neat. He has a lot of them. Patty says, the only host I ever met was Jack. Hey, Patty, thanks for joining us. Yeah, that's right, last year. I have met Bobby Boris Pickett at the Somerville Theater in Massachusetts, where his father used to manage. Oh, that's neat. Bobby Pickett. Um, Ravencroft says, I watch Newcastle all the time. I was one of their first subscribers, believe it or not. Oh, that's neat. Buck Williams, PA says, please hit the like button, folks. Yes, thank you, Buck Williams, PA, for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, with this channel, um, like, subscribe, like the video, subscribe, hit the notifications. And also, again, with Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales, that's a new channel I started back when I started this 20 weeks run. Here's what I'm going to be doing with that. We started this stuff. I started that on June 17th, Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales. The first week we did 2 episodes, and then a new episode has been coming out every week on that channel. Now here's my dilemma is doing that show at the same time I'm doing new ChillerNight theater shows. That's 40 shows. So what I'm going to do, just to give them, and a haunted house. A haunted house. So what I'm going to do, and it still works out, the math still works out. Tomorrow for Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales, the new story will be The Skin That Walked Alone. That is a Skinwalker episode. It was bound to happen. And then after that, there will be another Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales the week after that. Then what I'm going to do is the ones that I have already, I'm going to combine them into 2 per episode. Now that will run me 6 weeks of doing that, because I want to try to pick up as many new viewers. If that, if the 9-minute, or I have one that's even 15 minutes. That was Silver Under the Blood Moon, the kind of my Lone Ranger and Tonto type characters, which is going to be a spin-off series into their own adventures. So that'll be coming up as well. So we got Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales, and I'll talk more about the other spin-off series coming up. But after 6 weeks of that, then we'll finish that 20-week runoff with 3 new Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales. And the one that's going to feature on the Friday, the night before Halloween, or I'm sorry, the week of Halloween, not Friday, that Wednesday, will be called House of Terror. So, and I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's going to be good. Those take so much to just do one episode. That's why, some of them, the majority of them are like 9 minutes. They're short stories. So, but I'd like to, because I'm trying to monetize the channel. That's my objective, is to try to monetize Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales. And with that, will be coming merchandise and things like that. There are actually some merchandise that you can get, t-shirts and coffee mugs and things like that at ChillerNight.com. But I need to focus on one thing because I've got too many plates spinning in the air. So I'm kind of curious, I'll be honest, I'm curious myself whether I can pull this off or not. 20 weeks, 20 episodes of ChillerNight Theater. I don't know. I'm giving it a good, honest effort. We'll see if I can make that happen. Your guess is as good as mine. We're trying. Let's see. Those paintings in the night gallery were scary. I was in my late teens and early 20s, Raymond says. Yeah, they were. They were kind of disturbing. And if I've missed chats, your chats, I'm sorry. I can't scroll up the way this new app is from Restream. I can't scroll up. So I'm not happy about that. Pickett saying Monster Mash, Raymond says. Yes, Bobby Pickett. But it says, Raymond, they got a documentary on YouTube about all the paintings in the show. It's a great watch. Shows you every painting. Check it out. I did not know that. That's really cool. That's why I enjoy this show. I enjoy the topics because I learn from you guys here. It's not just me sitting here talking. It's you guys, bringing up this information that I think everybody can benefit from. If you're into horror and sci-fi, the chillers. Patty says, I prefer Steakhouse Willie. Sounds like a real horror fest. I missed it. I missed it, Patty, and I can't scroll up. But it says, or Raymond says, Bonehead, what is the title? Oh, for the YouTube documentary. Yeah, that's kind of cool. But it says, yes, sir, Buck Williams. I go by Bonehead or Butthead. I answer pretty much to anything, LOL. All right, one end of the body or the other matters not. So, let's see. I'll be thinking too about a topic for next week. I don't think I don't have any wrote down, so I don't know if somebody had come up with one that I just didn't write down or not. But let's see. In a couple minutes, I'll put the schedule up again. I have to find that doc. What's it called? Patty says. Yes. Raymond says, Brian, how do you find the actors in Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales? I find the actors. Well, I create them in my laboratory. SBC says, have you tried finding sponsors online yet? Jack Shadow could definitely sell a VPN. I appreciate that. No, the problem with me doing so many of these things is something that would be probably very simple, like a certain figure by sending in a picture or something like that. Something that is so incredibly simple to do. I have no time. I get up in the wee hours of the morning. I'm in here working. Then I get ready. I go to a job. I work that all day. I come home and I get back in here and I'm working until nighttime. And it's just there is a burnout factor that I'm trying to avoid, and so but I'm trying my best to keep up with it. But in the answer to your question is no, I haven't. I would imagine we'll probably have now the poster here for the haunted house. That's not the complete poster. I'd like to have. I'll probably have. There's a section that will go underneath the website there that will show like Stream TV and maybe whoever. Maybe we'll get last year's sponsor for the haunted house. But as far as the show, I don't have sponsors for that. But that would be a good idea. This is going to be 11 by 17 poster, so it's a little bit longer than what you're seeing right here. I'll have a section on the bottom for sponsors. I just haven't haven't got to do that one yet. SBC's. Oh, I read that. Raven says. James Coburn hosted the short-lived but very good 1981 series Dark Room, where each episode was based on a photograph. Oh, that sounds neat. That sounds cool. But it says if you punch up night gallery paintings, it'll show you. And there's also one that has creepiest night gallery paintings and stories, but it only features 5 paintings and stories. Okay, there you go. Thanks for that info. D says, if you need to skip some Wednesday chiller nights to reach your 20 episode goal, please do so. Rooting for liftoff and monetization. If you need to skip some Wednesday chiller nights, you mean some Cryptic Tales? Is that what the Cryptic Tales on Wednesday? If I need to skip some, reach your 20 episodes goal. Oh, but I will have the 20. It's a little more realistic to do the 20 ChillerNight Theater. Maybe that's what you're referring to. It's a little more realistic to do that. But those Cryptic Tales, oh my gosh, that is a full-time job. So I would rooting for liftoff and monetization. Thank you, D. I really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed to that, if any of you are out there and you haven't subscribed, please do that. It would really, if you appreciate what I've been doing all these years, I don't ask for anything in return, but I am asking that you know, for that, help me, help Jack Shadow continue, because at some point that will be the way to watch Jack Shadow at that point. Those episodes are not available on this channel because I can't monetize this channel, but I am trying my hardest to get to the point. And apparently it's going to be a lot longer of a journey than I figured, but we've got 63 subscribers. I think you got to have 1,000 at least to be considered for monetization. So I've got a ways to go. Didn't know that was going to happen, but I figured, you know, I got about what, over 7,500 subscribers on this channel. So I've been trying to get the word out, but it's a slow burn. Ravencroft said, and there was, oh, I missed it. Buck says, do the folks at your work know about your alter ego? Some of them do. There's a few that I didn't even know that, but a couple of them brought it up to me that they, like, you know, there was a guy last week who passed, hey, Jack Shadow. I said, hey, how you doing? You know, there was a couple that over the years that have mentioned it to me, but I didn't know that. I really don't. I don't really say it to people. I don't really talk about it outside of this. So I'm kind of surprised sometimes that they happen to see this stuff online. D says, I mean Tuesday. Oh, you mean these? Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. I think I'll be all right, but I appreciate that. I do. I hope you keep Tuesday night's programming. Raymond says, yeah, I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this, but I will let you know, at some point, I'm also going to have something like this on Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales. So that's another reason why I want to focus only on the one show, but I want to do this because this is where all my subscribers are at too. So, you know, if I just keep maybe getting new viewers and can kind of get the word out, and actually that will be mentioned. I have little promos in the ChillerNight Theater episodes that I've been playing. But coming up in some episodes that I'll probably be filming maybe even this week, well, probably this week, Jack will be mentioning about Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales a little bit more, you know, vocal about it, you know, and maybe he'll even take a walk down into the crypt from the high halls of Castle Shadow, as he calls them. So I gotta get the word out. I mean, Tuesday. Let's see. John says there is a streaming service called The Vortex that shows a variety of different horror movies and various hosts like The Bone Jangler, Penny Dreadful, Zombo, and many others. Yes, in fact, in about 10 minutes, I'll be on that. Right after this, I'll be going over. Appreciate that, John. Thank you for that information. The Vortex, I'll go through the schedule. At 9 o'clock, Jack Shadow features Twisted Brain, or you may know it as Horror High. And you can watch that and even participate in the chat at horrorhost.net. That's coming up here in about 10 minutes. And then, and I'll jump on there I usually jump on for about 10 or 15 minutes as Jack Shadow to chat with the viewers. I can't give them any more time than that because I'm on here for an hour prior to that. But I do like to get on there and just say hi to folks and thank them for watching. And tomorrow, the Jack Shadow's Cryptic Tales, that comes out. That comes out at 4 o'clock. That one will be released. The new one, The Skin That Walked Alone. So, and then this Saturday on Stream TV, the movie Vampire with Richard Lynch. And that will be at 9 o'clock on Stream TV and also at 11:58 p.m. on New York 48 WWON TV. And right there you can see, not there, the how to get there, streammedia.tv and onenewyork.net. One as in WON, newyork.net. There is our schedule. Yep, and just very short amount of time, I'll be jumping on horrorhost.net for, did I say it right? Yeah, horrorhost.net for the Vortex. So I appreciate them showing ChillerNight Theater amongst a plethora of horror hosts and horror host programming that they share on their site. It's 7,050 on this channel, SBC says. Okay. I knew it had a 7 and a 5. I at least knew it had a 7. Patty says, sorry I haven't been here much tonight. The kids going to college are back and it's been busy here. How about school-related horror for future? School-related horror. Ah. That, in like 8 minutes, there'll be a good school-related horror. And Twisted Brain. Or Horror High, whichever you prefer to call it. School-related horror. Okay. We'll do that one next week then. Alright, that'll be our topic next week. Stephanie says, my nephew is going to college too. Nice. Ravencroft says, Patty, nice suggestion. I have a lot of horror-filled memories of school. There you go. Yeah. We'll talk about the movies, but you can also share your most horrific experiences in school if you wish to do so. But it says, that's also a great topic, Miss Stephanie. Ray Bradbury and Ray Harryhausen were very good friends and grew up together, I heard. That's cool. I didn't know that. SBC says, keeping this channel active is the best advertisement for the new channel. Yeah, that's why I plan to keep this running, and even during October, we'll be here every Tuesday night for ChillerNight Live. I have no intention of shutting it down, so I'll be here as long as you are. Abundance says, Brian, I really hope that you keep doing this live pre-show for another 20 years at least till I die, LOL. I'd be lost without this great show to look forward to every Tuesday night. Oh, thank you. 20 years. You never know. There's really no reason I couldn't, as long as things are going well. And Jack Shadow, he's been around for 20 years. Nothing says he can't be around for another 20. Raven says, where do you get all your energy? From coffee. And that's just, I have to pull myself up that hill, up that mudslide, pushing the boulders. I have to just, I remember one of my art instructors, he said that back at the Art Institute, he says, a lot of people, you gotta put that gun to their head, to get them to work and go the extra mile. He says, but you do that to yourself. You hold the gun to your own head. And I don't know if that just comes from my background, and all my training and stuff, but I've been always very disciplined. I mean, to the point where I'd wake up, the first thing I'd see, for a long time, I have a background in martial arts, but I sat there, the first thing I'd see, as much, I love my morning coffee, but it says, I had a sign right there, I put it right there as soon as I wake up, no kata, no coffee. And so, well into my adult years, I'm doing my katas, before I go out and get my coffee. It sounds like a little thing, but to me, that's how my life's been. I've just been very disciplined in many aspects of my life, and that's what gives me, I don't even know if it's the energy, but it is the discipline, to do that. But with all things, there has to be balance. So, can I do 20 of these episodes? I don't know. Because I still have a life, and I don't want to shirk on anything else in my life. But that's a little thing about me, I guess. Jeff says, believe it or not, I was actually born in the hospital that's in Moon of the Wolf. Oh, no way. That's cool. That's neat. Thanks for joining us, Jeff, by the way. That's neat. Bowden says, Miss Stephanie, there's a YouTube video about the two Rays and the beast from 20,000 Fathoms. They were together and talked to the audience and explained their friendship working together on Beast. That's neat. A lot of neat stuff on YouTube. You can find anything. Ravencroft says, Rich Svengoolie causes 74 years old, so anything's possible. That's how I look at it, you know. I might not be pretty by then, or even now. You know, like, to each his own. It's all subjective. But Jack Shadow, probably still going to look the same. John says, and once again, another hour of the best part of the show is just about finished. And you have been watching ChillerNight Live with Bryan Hogue. This is Crozak de Grand reminding you that it's only a matter of time before it's back to school. So start getting ready for it. And now there's only 74 days left until Halloween night. Until next week, stay chilled and keep thrilled. Yes. Thank you for that reminder and for the compliment. Let's see. Brad says, even after Dracula and Frankenstein, after January 1st, 2027, it's still going to take some time for Jack Shadow to do both of those double feature movies. Yeah, well, he won't be jumping on that right away, I can tell you that. Because right after Halloween, I'm probably going to try to, you know, probably going to be busy those next couple months, tearing everything down with the haunted house and trying to liquidate everything, you know, in the store. Raymond says, I look forward to this show too. Oh, thank you, Raymond. Appreciate that. Ravencroft says, darn, that hour went fast. Holy cow, yeah, it did. But it says, thank you, Miss Stephanie Press. You and I seem to be the welcoming committee for the show. You do a great job. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I see you guys saying hi to folks, and I appreciate that. Jack, or SBC says, Jack has not aged a day in the last 20 years. Very true. Ravencroft says, in fact, he looks a little younger, really, if you saw how he used to look 20 years ago. Ravencroft says, well, take care, everyone. Stay safe, and let's all meet again next week. Thank you, Brian. You're very welcome. Yes, let's do that. Stephanie says, take care, y'all. See you next week. Bunny says, well, Brian and the ChillerNight crew, thanks again for a great show. You are very welcome. Thank all of you for stopping in and checking it out and joining me and each other for another episode of ChillerNight Live. So I'm going to hop on over to horrorhost.net for the Vortex, as they will be kind enough to be showing ChillerNight Theater Twisted Brain. So, with that, I say, have a good night. Have a good chiller night. We'll see you next week.